And good morning. Welcome to another episode of Sean's Picks of the Week, where I go through each of the picks of the day I've done over the past week and share them with you in this lovely little podcast. Well, YouTube video podcast thing, I guess, whatever. So anyway, this week we are celebrating the big Christmas in July sale going on over at DriveThruRPG. This is 25% off of thousands of digital titles. So it's a heck of a great time to pick up some awesome stuff. And I decided to just hone in on basically the top 5 products listed and called it Hot Times in Christmastown Week. So that's really the theme for the podcast this week. And so we'll start out with Shadowrun Street Lethal. As I said, for the rest of the month, Christmas, July. We're looking at the top-selling titles. They're all 25% off. You really want to get in on this, by the way. This thing is over at the end of the month, and is right now it's the 27th of July. That doesn't leave a whole lot of time. Shadowrun Street Lethal is a book for those who love high-octane combat of Shadowrun and want to optimize the hell out of their talent, their tools, and their time on the street. So this is basically advanced combat rules to step up your Shadowrun game. This is very much for Shadowrun 5th Edition, but it also could be adapted pretty easily to juice up your Shadowrun Anarchy game. Street Lethal contains the data, tools, and options players need to maximize their characters' combat skills, with briefings on the security techniques of major corporations, information on major mercenary groups and their operations, and a whole truckload of firearms options. This book has all runners need to make sure they're the ones left standing at the end of a fight. Now, I had a bit of a crazy Monday, so I actually ended up, doing 2 picks on Tuesday. So I kept to the Cyberpunk theme, since that's 2 of the top 5 that were in the Christmas and July sale, and went with Cyberpunk. The godfather of all Cyberpunk gaming is naturally Cyberpunk from R. Talsorian, and Cyberpunk 2.0.2, well, 2020, let's face it. Cyberpunk 2020 stands as the best iteration of that beloved groundbreaker in many fans' minds. It is also interesting because Cyberpunk 2077 is tearing up the computer game world with anticipation, so might want to go back and check the source data. This is Cyberpunk, the original role-playing game of the dark future, world of corporate assassins, heavy metal heroes, and brain-burning cyber hackers packed with cutting-edge technology and intense urban action. In this book, you'll find everything you need to tackle the mean streets of the 2000s and a game system that combines the best in realistic action and playability. So this was really the piece de resistance, if you will, of Mike Pondsmith's vision for Cyberpunk gaming. And it took a while to kind of catch hold because Cyberpunk wasn't really exploding in the genre minds of folks at the time, but as people started to really kind of wake up to Cyberpunk, and in a lot of ways thanks to Shadowrun, they went back and looked at this and said, okay, this is straight up into it. There's also a dramatic feel of revolutionary kind of angles to it, and you see that come out in a lot of the other source material. So anyway, there you go, Cyberpunk, the original Cyberpunk. Then we move on to Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary. Now, I've picked this a few times over the years for various reasons. Today, or that day, I picked it because of it being a top seller. And why is this still selling so well? I was looking at this. Unless you reside in a social media blackout space, which means you're probably not seeing or hearing this, there's a lot of discourse, we'll call it, over the impending release of the newest iteration of Vampire and the World of Darkness as presented by the property's new masters. The decisions they've made, in terms of marketing at the very least, have created a pretty divisive environment, but therein lies the beauty of multiple iterations of a game. Play the one you like, and herein lies why Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition is still available and still highly popular. So this one has all 13 original clans, clan variants, and bloodlines with their signature disciplines, classic rules updated from Vampire's Revised Edition, character creation and advancement from Neonate to Methuselah, all the disciplines from level 1 through 9, updated setting to the modern knights, and all kinds of new art from Tim Bradstreet and other classic Masquerade artists. So for those who long for the World of Darkness as it changed to the world of gaming, this is the product you want to go back to. It's an option that a lot of people are going to enjoy, even as others are exploring a new vision that has its own aspects. And we'll just leave it at that for now. All right, moving on. We get to the Lexicon of the Throne, which is the latest product for the Godbound RPG line from Sin Nominee Publishing. Now, Godbound is one of the more interesting things to come out of the OSR, Old School Revolution, and it is a game in which you are playing heroes working to become gods, basically. It expands the gameplay options for players significantly. It's not only a massive expansion for Godbound, it's a powerful resource for building religions and related ideas for any game world. So we go into the sales text. Unlock the words of creation for the Godbound role-playing game and arm yourself with mighty tools for the forging of new faiths for whatever games you play. Lexicon of the Throne is a source book that contains not only a host of new words of creation for your Godbound game, but also extensive guidelines for creating new words and gifts for your own campaign. In addition to these new words, half the book is devoted to a set of GM tools for creating new religions and clerical hierarchies, tools that serve in the best sign nominee tradition for use in any game you play, whether fantasy, modern, or sci-fi. Even those GMs who don't indulge in the divine heroics of Godbound can profit from these polished and powerful tools. So that is one of the big sellers going on right now in the Christmas and July sale. And finally, we close the week out with Amazing Tales by Martin Lloyd, a game for children who love adventures. So this one is structured for parents and favorite adults to construct RPG experiences with kids aged 4 and older, structured in a similar fashion to how many folks build imaginative stories with their kids as a matter of bonding and stimulating imagination. Christmas in July is almost over, so you want to grab this for the 25% off like everything else. Amazing Tales is a role-playing game written to be played by children aged 4 and over together with their parents. With your child, you will create an amazing tale in about the time it takes to read a bedtime story. This has gotten a lot of critical and media acclaim, lots of great things being said, perfect for its target audience, and a great first-time RPG, a huge smash hit. If you have kids, I suggest it, and so on and so forth. The short and simple Amazing Tales rules are so simple a 4-year-old will be able to explain them, flexible enough to cope with the most imaginative requests. This is one of the latest iterations in the burgeoning field of games oriented for kids, which, as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of because we want to continue to grow our hobby, which means we want to bring our kids to the table and share our amazing times with them. And we want to stimulate their imaginations, and eventually we want them out there running and playing games too. So, that is the week of the hot times in Christmastown that I was talking about as we celebrate Christmas in July over at Drive-Thru RPG. Once again, you've only got a few days left, so take a look at these and the other products there. On each of the picks this week, by the way, at the bottom, I link straight to the Christmas in July page so that you can review everything else on sale. As always, I hope you have fantastic gaming ahead, and peace out to all of y'all. See you next week.